Hey, assalamualaikum everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, my name is Sayed MJ. I'm known by a number of different names, but we're not going to get into that. It's probably a whole different video all on its own. Now, we are currently in a situation where we're back in lockdown part 2. Now, as a community, we have been through a hell of a lot, not just this year, but over the years. However, this year has been extremely, extremely special. It's been special for us as Stanmore Jaffrey members because this year, our club has gone from strength to strength, and we have basically expanded into so many different areas. And what we've done is we really wanted to sort of have a bit of a banter, a bit of a talk about how this whole lockdown has been for all of us and how it's been for you guys. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get together, an interstellar group of guys. Some of these guys some of these guys you've spoken to, and if you don't know, well, you should know them anyway. So with me today to talk about all of the activities that you and I have been doing throughout Stanmore Jaffrey, throughout lockdown, is we have the new chairman of SJFC. Some of you may know him when he had hair. However, he doesn't now, but he's still a very nice guy. Nazir Ravjani. Salams, bro. How you doing?
Alaikum salam. Try and get my name right next time.
Okay, Mr. Ravji, no problem. we also have with us, okay, a guy that needs no introduction. Actually, we've got two people that don't need, let's be fair, none of these guys need introductions. But this particular chap here, he's probably got one of the most charming pair of glasses that I've ever seen. In addition to that, he has got an amazing smile. And he told me a secret once that his nickname is after a fruit drink. I don't know about that. I guess you guys can let us know in the comments, whether it is or not. But I'd like to introduce you all to Muhammad Ali Datu, or otherwise known as Potelo. Salams, bro. How you doing?
Salam, bro. How you doing?
Not bad. So is it true that your nickname is from a drink?
Yeah, Potelo, going back all those years to Kenya,
man. Going back home, huh? Very good. That's excellent. Now, we also have with us, okay, an absolute legend in the cycling world. You know him. You've seen him. He's aerodynamic. He's got iron legs. Mr. Imran Mamdani, the head of SJ Cycling. Salam, bro. How you doing?
Alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah, all good.
Listen, before we get into anything, I think we all need to know what's iron legs about, man. Where did that come from?
Oh, it's a long story. I might take up all your time here. But essentially, it's just cycling, really. A bunch of guys just, gave me that name, and that's where it came from. But
so iron legs.
But believe me, they're way better cyclists in our community than I am. So.
Oh, not only is he modest here, but he's also got iron legs, man. Mashallah, that's amazing. Yeah. Seriously, bro. Welcome on board. And we have, okay, a brother that has come out of nowhere. Like, I say nowhere, we all know him, but he has taken this club in a direction and started off a sport that, people like you and us Asians, that are eating up parathas and potatoes and tatatas, whatever they are, we can never think of running. I mean, who would have thought? I'd like to introduce everyone to the head of running our new club, Ali Momin. Salam, bro. How you doing?
Salams, MJ. How you doing?
I'm not bad, bro. Listen, running, of all the things, why running?
You know what? I don't think I've ever shared this story with you. I may have, but actually, you were part of my inspiration for getting into running.
Me?
Yeah, you were part of my inspiration.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll probably cover that. As long as it's a good thing about me, then that's fine. If it's not, then, bro, we're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it in the edit. Don't you worry about that. Okay. Our final guest. A man that does not need any introduction, a man that we have seen worldwide in Mr. International. Can I please get a yes, Mahmood?
Yes, Mahmood.
Yes, Mahmood.
Yes, Mr.
OMJ,
Mahmood
you're too good, man.
Head of SJ Fitness.
Cool. I want to thank you because when we came on here, what MJ said is that after we do the introductions, he's going to do 10 star jumps for all of us. And I'm like, that would be so good on camera, because that's what this whole fitness is all about. So can you give us those 10 star jumps right now, please?
I'd love to. I'd love to, but the problem is that the insurance company in my studio doesn't cover me for that, especially for the ground floor people. If I do that, then you'll see me going once, twice, third time, boom, right down. And I don't think anyone really wants to see that here, you know. But no, guys, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and sort of talk to me about a few of the things that have been happening over COVID. Now, I'm sure you guys agree that this hasn't been the most easiest of years, right? And I want to start off specifically with running, because running has been a sport that us as a community, we've never really got into. Yes, a lot of people either run to the restaurant or run to, iftar or, whatever it is. But I want to find out about this whole running thing, because running, especially during lockdown part 1, it really came to the forefront. So Ali, tell us a bit more about this. How did you get inspired about it? And what is the story behind SJ running?
So I'll tell you a little bit about my story quickly about and how I got into running. So around about 2 years ago, I realized quite quickly that, I'm not a big guy, but you know quite well that how your general fitness is, right? And as I said, I think you were a little bit of my inspiration as well. You had your condition a couple of years ago, and to be honest, that was a little bit of an eye opener for myself as well. And I wanted to do a sport that I could kind of do in my own time. So I was finding I used to play football a lot, but and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the guys I used to play football with used to get cancelled on a fairly regular basis. And so I found like I wasn't actually playing that much football, right? So the story goes that I was on the couch and my missus said to me, she was like, why don't you go for a run? So I literally put on my football boots and I went for a run, yeah. And it was so painful. It was like the most painful thing in the world.
I'm not surprised, especially if you're wearing your football boots. Of course it's going to be painful, right?
Probably. I just got back out there the next day and I was like, I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to conquer this. And then after around about 10 runs, I started to feel really good. And then that was it, really. It just kind of went on from there. And then it was like, okay, I could do 3 kilometers. Then I was like, okay, let me try and do 5 kilometers. And then it went to 7, 8 kilometers, 9, 10. Then Ramzan came around and was like, can I run during Ramzan? I was like, yeah, I can run during Ramzan. Then I went to 10, 12, 15. And then some of those guys on this call will know Furqan Ismail. He called me up in I think it was around about August and was like, you fancy doing a half marathon? I was like, a half marathon, 21 kilometers? Are you crazy? But I was like, you know what, if I've got to 10, it's only another 10 more. So I kept on doing it. And basically that is my story of how I got into running. I've never looked back. I just genuinely enjoy it so much. Feel physically so much better, mentally so much more refreshed. And then that was it really. So that's my story in terms of running.
That's absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that obviously Mahmoud will attest to this as well, that, it was a slow start, but all of a sudden it just snowballed, similar to fitness as well, where I think you had a few people join you and then all of a sudden the crowd got bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah, we started with 15 and it just grew from there about 4 years ago. So it's been a phenomenal journey. And we've always wanted to have a running branch, but it's just kind of finding that one person who was really passionate about taking that to the next level. And that's when Ali stepped in this year. So it's phenomenal. Yeah. So we had great growth. I mean, it is so important to be able to stay physically and mentally fit, especially during lockdown. So that's why we couldn't take a back seat over this lockdown.
That's brilliant. Now I've got to ask every single one of you guys a question. Yeah. Not answering is not an option here. But out of every single person on this Zoom call, okay, how many of you actually been to a fitness class that Mahmoud teaches?
I went to a few.
You went to a few as well, innit? So guys, I mean, come on, we've got to set an example here, right? So I do think that
3 out of 6 is not bad.
Sorry?
4 out of 6, yeah.
4 out of 6.
Yeah, but I'm sure I don't count as one of those. Kind of one of those guys, right?
Oh, brilliant. No, but I think what we do need to do here is to inspire our 2 young brothers here to join us, in the fitness sessions after lockdown. I mean, would you agree, Mahmoud?
Maybe we'll just have a separate one for Nazira and Imran. I think that would be, I think it's like something just specifically for you two, right?
It's going to be a killer.
For like the football genius and the, like the super cyclist. We just have a special one just for you two. And we film it for SJ.
Yeah.
And it's like a Tough Mudder thing. It'll be brilliant. Yeah. And Ali can join in and, Mumsy, you can join in as well. It'll be brilliant.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I think that would be awesome. That would be
Maybe that can be part 2 of this. Surely this is part 1, and we can do part 2 straight after lockdown.
I'll tell you what, if you're going to
You know, the exciting part of the fitness is when you see Mahmood, when he's training you, and he just comes and literally, if you're doing a press up, he'll just come and literally lie next to you. Come on, give me one more, come on. Just that passion, you can see it from his face, and you don't want to give up on it. And that's
Good,
amazing.
man.
That's very true. That is very true. Especially when he's there going, "Come on, you can do this. You can do this." Yeah, it definitely does motivate you. I've got to say. But again, just on the note of fitness, okay, and just with all the sports, I just want to sort of mention one thing, that if you look at it, and again, guys, tell me whether you agree or not, okay, that every single sport within Stanmore Jaffrey's is linked to each other. Without one sport, you can't be good at another sport, or you can't be better at it. So, for example, okay, fitness, I think that's like the base of everything, right? You become fit, right? Then when you become fit, you build your stamina, you're able to run faster, you're able to run longer. When you're able to run longer, okay, you're able to cycle faster, cycle harder. And when you're able to do that and have that stamina and that speed, you're able to be more effective on the football pitch and on a racket court. Would you guys agree with that?
MJ, that was well put, man. That was well thought out. It's like you linked it all. It was great.
It's true though, isn't it? I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Without
No,
that,
you're right. I always say to my guys on the running side, I always say to them, don't just do running. Yeah, SJ has a platform of sports. Yeah, you can't improve your running unless you have fitness and strength and core. You have to have all the elements to it, really. So I always say to my guys, definitely, it's not just about running. It's about having that, just being able to embrace everything that SJ offers. 100% agree with you.
For us, it's become more important. So 2 seasons ago, we started with the kids joining the league. And one of the things that we found very, very quickly was that we're way behind the curve in terms of fitness. And the boys have come along a long way. They've learned their lesson. You had boys who started off playing, 25, 30-minute matches, moving all the way up to hour and 10-minute matches. Actually, they couldn't last. They realized how unfit they were against the competition. Now you've got boys who've overcome asthma. You've got boys who are playing 45, 50 minutes of a match straight through. They might get 7 minutes of break half time, but they're back on the pitch and they're running. And that fitness level, just the general exercise, getting your stamina up, learning how you run, all of that stuff, it's become so important to them. They're starting to understand. These are kids starting from the ages of 9, 10, all the way up to 18. And that fitness has become so important.
Oh, wow, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, what do you guys think is the cause of this? Because you're right. I mean, in our generation, I think I can use this openly with Nazir included, our generation, that, when we were brought up, especially for me, there wasn't a massive push on sports or activity or fitness and that. So what do you think has inspired these kids, to be like that? And what part has SJ played in that?
I think it's a natural progression of where we've come from. So bearing in mind, most people's families were immigrants into this country and where we came from. They were very concerned about getting them stable and getting themselves set up. Actually, looking at where we are now and the generations as we proceeded, you look at where we come from, we set up the mosque, we set up some initial sports, which was very small. It was people getting together, doing stuff. Then SJ was formed several years ago, and it started to grow and grow. We got the football going, we got the racket sports going, and actually it's a natural extension. People have brought what they love to the table, and people have got involved across the group. People have found new clubs they can do, new sports they can do. And this, I think, has started to help. And our outlook, we look around us, there's people doing this. So we're better to do it than within your own community and build those relationships. We've got, if we look at the boys that we've got in the teams, actually they're starting to build really good relationships and friendships.
Well, I'm actually sorry to interrupt, but I'm actually really happy you mentioned about the friendships and the relationships, because last year with SJ Cycling, when they rode from London to Brighton, Imran, I think you can attest to this, right? But the one thing that came out of it was the friendships and the relationships that had been forged through that one trip, which is what I think about 80 miles.
It was about 55, but what we saw, to Nazir's point, that's where cycling essentially started booming. Effectively, we were about 36 of us, the road from London to Brighton. And what we saw was, amongst other things, people from all different corners, all different, I guess, ways of life kind of coming together. Most of the guys didn't know each other. Obviously, there were some kind of groups that knew each other, but essentially, as a group, as a 36 people group that did the ride in itself, they didn't. Prior to that, we had a lot of practice sessions, practice rides, and I think in some of them, I think the guys did attend. We had a special cycling fitness class. I think Mahmoud, you ran that one, I think, or was it a bus? But regardless, yeah, I mean, you see, so from then on, you saw those friendships, those new, I guess, relationships form and grow over time, especially with lockdown. I think we're going to touch lockdown later on, but yeah, completely can relate to that.
So,
MJ, one of the things which I found, right, is that, now that, as Nazir said, people have come to the table who are passionate with what they do, right? And that energy attracts other people. And that's why I feel our community right now is so much stronger because of SJ, because you come there, right? Say you're in fitness. The only, like when you're pushing each other, there's only one thing, right? You just want the other person to do better. That's it. There's nothing else in there. And that's how friendships are formed, right? So, I mean, there's been so much happening in this arena. People have come to the platform, which has given them a platform because they're so passionate about this. People buy into that energy, they buy into that passion. That's how we've grown.
And also, I'll just add something. So, people see from what I've seen, people see SJ as a community club, which provides multiple different options when it comes to sport. And sport is the only single activity or single, I guess, platform or range of activities that is available and is applicable to pretty much everyone and anyone within the community. You would find more people, more children, more youth show up in sports than they would at mosque. And what better way to kill two birds with one stone?
100%, yeah.
Facilitate sport as well as promote religion.
I mean, like, I think the prime example of this, and I think Muhammad Ali will be able to sort of tell us more about it, is the SJRS festival. I remember last year or the year before, it was massive. I mean, to get so many people together, I mean, it can't be easy, right?
The volunteers themselves were about 150 people.
Wow.
Volunteers.
Wow.
And in fact, I think Nazir was there helping out. The dream team, 26 people, and that bond that we have, we do over lockdown, we're doing Zoom calls. We've done a couple of Zoom calls, but just that bond that and now you can see Rosa is into cycling, Molanda went into cycling. So it's basically, you guys are right, it's the passion. And I came into this with the passion of, my job to help the community, to do something for the community. It might not be something big, but at least to do my little bit and do something. And it's fantastic. With you, like SGRS, 1,500 people came down that day.
1,500, that's a lot of people. A lot of people, that is, And again, I got to say, I mean, especially with with the first lockdown, I mean, just to sort of give us a quick brief overview, I mean, Nazir, SJFC, how have they sort of been dealing, or how have you guys been dealing with the previous lockdown, the current lockdown, and what are your plans for any future lockdowns that may happen?
It's been interesting. So if you remember, the initial lockdown started as we were coming towards the end of the previous season. And it was interesting at that point in that we still had probably another month and a half of the season left. Yep. We had probably another 3 weeks of the league matches going, and everything just shut down. So it took a couple of weeks for everyone to get their heads around actually what had happened. And one of the things that first came out was the leagues that had stopped made decisions based on the matches that had been played and where we got to. And it wasn't too bad because we played quite a few matches. But after that, I mean, full lockdown meant everything went really quiet. And that wasn't too bad. It gave us a break. It gave us a chance to do some of the stuff that we had to do anyway through that quiet period. For example, we've launched the new kits. We've got the sponsors on board and everything else. So all of that work carried on in the background. The biggest piece for us through that was right towards the end, where we got to the end of August. And for us, it was, are things going to restart? How are they going to restart? Are we going to be allowed to play indoors, outdoors? How many people? Rule of 6. All of this came into play. So finally, once the rules came out, then it was waiting for the venues to tell us that they were COVID safe. The thing that probably people don't appreciate, and this group can attest to this as we've gone through it, is the sheer amount of paperwork, due diligence, just the safety measures that have to be put in, these risk assessments that have to be done. So all of that had to be put in place before we started. The venues had to be COVID secure. So we did all of that, and we did some of it in advance, but some of it had to be done quite late. And then as soon as we came out of that, it was literally a question of restarting. So that was fine in terms of the first lockdown. The second one, I would say for us, has been more of a pause, not too much of an impact. And to some degree, we anticipated it was going to happen. So we've geared up to do that.
Okay, excellent. And I mean, Mahmood, especially with lockdown number 1, I remember pretty much every other day seeing you on YouTube saying, come on, guys, let's do the jumping star jumps, you know. Tell us a bit more about that and how SJ Fitness are going to be helping people throughout this entire pandemic.
See, when lockdown 1 happened, one of the biggest things that fitness and all exercise does, right, is that your psychology is totally related to your physiology, so how you move your body. And during that lockdown, what we realized is that, like when prisoners do the worst things, right, they're sent into isolation, they're sent into lockdown. And now lockdown was forced upon all of us.
Isn't that called
and
marriage?
Mentally, pardon?
Isn't that called
That's
marriage?
part 2, you said. You said not to talk about marriage on here, so I'm not talking about marriage at all. Yeah. And cool. No. So when lockdown, so when marriage hit, we had to it was, what do we do, right? Yeah. So we had over 100 people who normally attend the fitness classes in total, right? Everyone normally comes, and it's like, what do we do now? And no one knew how long the lockdown was going to last. And it's, well, we can't meet, so we can't meet. And then Joe Wicks started up his thing on the internet, right? And I'm like, okay, fine, right? That's a great idea. And so I was running one morning and I said, look, what if we could do the same kind of thing for our community? And so I remember I called you on that day, and I called you and I said, let's put it together. And then we did. And then we started 2 days later with SJ. It was in my driveway. And then that was it. And we had fitness classes 3 times a week. And and then we had people from all around the world tuning in, and it was great. And it just gave everyone a place. Just they knew that kind of Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, they'd be coming out and we'd just be working out together. And it gave our communities worldwide a place to actually come and exercise. So it was great because we knew we weren't going to be able to meet in person. And so that was phenomenal for everyone. So yeah, we kept going.
Now, Potela, I'll be honest with you. I think SJRS and volleyball, of course, have probably had the toughest ride, throughout this whole pandemic. But despite that, I've been privy to a lot of the work that you guys have been doing in the background. So tell us a bit more about what you've been doing and what the plans are once lockdown is lifted.
So initially, we started off with, we had the kids Zoom tennis at home. So if you recall, we made a video of the dream team taking squash rackets, table tennis, everything. And we encouraged the kids to play at home. We had some Zoom sessions, two Zoom sessions. That went well. And then after that, we came out of lockdown and we could start SJ tennis. So we started off tennis, that was buzzing. We had youth tennis going at the same time. Parents would just come, leave the kids, and boom, they would disappear. So everyone was back to the normal. And I remember even Shafiq, he was there. I remember him dropping his son. It was fun. Yeah. But again, same thing as Nazir said, the venues are all schools. And they were strict with the paperwork, risk assessment, and all that. We got into all of that. Badminton started, and within first 2 sessions, they closed all the sessions. Badminton, as you know, badminton, all of Imran, in fact, has played badminton. Nazir has played badminton. You know how it is. The message goes out within 5 minutes. I think less than 5 minutes. 36 spots, all gone. And that's the thing that I miss the most. But we encouraged everyone to play at home. And alhamdulillah, tennis went on well. We had coaching sessions. But now going forward, you know what? I've been sitting with the team. All we have to do is just wait for the go. The moment we open up to this, I know winter is coming up, so we can't start tennis outdoors, but we have to try and think about encouraging our members to do something. Now, I, for instance, if you look at me, I have taken up cycling,
Mm.
and I have now completed my 30 rides. I started off at the speed of 11, and I was with Imran the other day. I just went to see him, and I've managed to get 15 miles per hour on my bike
Well
from
done,
for
bro.
my size. And I'm doing about what, 25, 30 miles in the evening. So Alhamdulillah.
Oh, that's
But
beautiful.
as we said, we are all interconnected. And if I can't do what SGRS is doing at the moment, then yes, I will do the other sports. But the main focus is that once we get out, then as a team we have to sit down and think what we're going to do for the future.
100%. No, that's a really good thinking as well. I mean, this then also begs a question, okay? With social distancing, the rules of six, and the rules changing every 5 minutes. I mean, Imran, how are you guys managing to still put together rides, together and maintain, well, social distancing, really?
Yeah, so let me talk you through lockdown one, and then I'll kind of come into lockdown two to kind of make more sense. So when initially when COVID happened and it started impacting us here, lockdown one happened. The guidance and the government guidance as well as recycling. There was obviously at the time initially there was a lot of uncertainty and lack of clarity, I guess, when the lockdown came into effect. However, over time, um, we managed to get a lot more clarity on what exactly are the restrictions and the rules, and we were lucky because cycling as a sport had very little impact as we were able to continue our activities, although we were restricted, like in group of six.
Yep.
And cycling in itself doesn't require you, like some other sports, to be confined to a space, or you need to book a court, or you need to play on a football pitch. As long as you have a bike, you go out, you ride, right? So we were lucky from that respect. All we had to do, obviously, was we just had to ensure that all groups and riders comply with the appropriate guidance and rules. And also, our volunteers just stepped up. And then towards the tail end of the lockdown, I guess I can probably just make a point here that we ran our flagship event, the Aljaska Water Appeal Sportive. Um, Although we were planning for it, well in advance, everything just went down the drain come lockdown, because then uncertainty, we had to plan everything literally on the go as and when things changed. So Alhamdulillah, that attracted a lot of riders from around the world. And coupled with fundraising, Alhamdulillah, we kind of managed to hit our target. Now also, because all the other sports were pretty much closed down, and like Potilla and a few others have said, SJ, we aren't individual sport bodies. We are actually one body, but it's just different organs part of it. And essentially, we are here to kind of promote each other. As long as our community stay fit, they get involved in any sort of activity. I think that's our kind of main purpose and vision. So that being said, when lockdown two happened, now this is where it sort of hit us a little bit in that now we can't ride in group of six. We can only go out either alone or in groups in pairs.
Mm.
So we thought about it, and almost instantly we started the Teams Challenge, which is a sort of a virtual challenge
Yep.
that still lets you ride on your own, or whatever your local restrictions guidelines are, but just to bring a bit more competitiveness to it. what that would we hope would do is give some additional motivation to the riders, as well as um, encouragement that there's something pushing you to kind of to hit the target,
Yeah.
to achieve your miles or whatever that may be.
I suppose it still keeps that competitive edge alive, and that unity that you can push each other, without physically being there. And I think this is the beauty of, what we as a club, as a community have achieved, is that we've been very quick to capture technology and utilize it in a very user-friendly manner to help keep boosting fitness and health and well-being in the entire community, which is absolutely brilliant. I mean, Ali, from your perspective, okay, we still have obviously I'm not sure when this is going out and when people are going to watch it. By the time they watch it, lockdown's probably over anyway. But if another lockdown is to come, okay, or there are still people are still watching it in this lockdown, what can they do to motivate themselves to just basically, whether they go running, fitness, or anything, just to take up an activity? What would your advice be on that?
My advice would be almost twofold. I say this to everyone all the time, actually. The first piece of advice, and the most hardest thing to do, but if you do it, you've done 95% of the hard work, is just get out the front door. No matter what you're going to do, whether you're going to go for a run or walk, even freshwater swim, just get out the front door. If you get out the front door, you've done 95% of the hard work. The other 5% will come.
But sometimes
That's
getting
the
out
first.
that door is the hardest part, though, you know?
That is the hardest part. But that's, you just got to get out. You just got to put those shoes on, just get out the door. That's the first hardest part. The
Right.
second thing to do is, if you're going to do it, take someone with you. Our government actually actively encourage us to be active during this period outdoors, and you're allowed to go out with another person. So if you're going to do it, pick up the phone, your friend that you haven't spoken to in a while, you haven't seen in a while, just give them a call going, I'm going out for a run, I'm going out for a walk, join me. If you do that, the next time they go out, they'll contact somebody else, and it's that ripple effect, we're all here to motivate each other. So my advice is twofold. Number one, just get out the door. Number two, try and take somebody with you on that journey.
That's brilliant. And I think it's important to also mention at this point as well that this is for all the viewers out there, that no matter who you are, where you're from, you don't have to be a member of Stanmore Jaffrey's or, a member of Stanmore. If there is anything that you want, contact Stanmore Jaffrey's. We're here to help. We're here to give you the advice. You have some of the best people here. Now, Mahmoud, if lockdown 3 is going to happen again, can we expect some more online fitness tutorials?
Probably not. No, they're all recorded and we can go to them. I think what would be really good is if we did hit lockdown 3 and if we could plan well ahead. I don't know if we can all get in the park still and we could just be totally, it's just like, we can totally be separate. But I think, people want to do things in groups, okay? And even if you're with people, but you're not with people, so even if you're far away from them, it's so much nice to be around people. So will we have number 3? I don't know. Number 2, right now, we're not doing anything. What we found is, a lot of people don't want to be together right now because people are worried. Naturally, they're worried, right? And that's cool. So we don't want to kind of put people together if they don't want to. And so I think we'll be over this fairly soon. And I think we can get back. And I think within a few months, we'll be allowed to get back, even if we are distanced. And we kind of start everything up again. But right now, Ali said is golden, right? Just get out the door. My added bit on there is as early as you can in the morning. That's it. As a massive thing, that the earlier you can be, the brain works in a totally different way in the morning. Even if you just go for a walk, even if it's a jog or run, whatever. But just that early time in the morning is it's the hardest, but it's the best time.
Yeah, true. Well, I
And,
suppose it's
and mental health wise,
now.
right now, most important thing.
Yeah, and I suppose right now with Fajr being like sort of a little bit later on, right? It's a good point that you wake up for Fajr, you go for a walk or a run or a cycle, and then come back and crack on with your day, right? No excuses.
Great one.
And Nazir.
Yeah. Most people are working from home anyway. Most people are working from home. What's the excuse?
I've started running.
You have?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Because with the weather recently, cycling's a bit iffy, particularly when it's raining and stuff. So,
are you just scared you're going to skid?
Have you seen my size?
They're like about this thin, your tires, aren't they? That's crazy. No, look, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much, not only for joining me on this conversation, but more so for the amount of hard work that you have put in behind the scenes, work that even I don't see, work that a lot of people don't see. It can't be easy in your position. And I know that I've been giving you guys hell, and I'm sure other people have been as well, but it's all for a good cause. So thank you so much for all of your
Can I just make one shout? Just
Yes,
on that one. It's thank you to us, not necessarily, but the teams that support us and the people behind us. They are critical for this.
I was absolutely getting to that, that you guys wouldn't be able to do what you do without the support of the people around you, So I think SJ as a organization, as a club, it's all one, because without one club, the other one wouldn't be where they are. So you're 100% right. It is a full balance. It takes all of us together to do this, right? Now, for everyone watching at home right now, if there are any questions that you have, any advice that you want on a particular sport or just general health and fitness, look, you can get in touch with us. I'll probably put some of the links down here for you to get in contact with us. And guys, just in parting, is there any words of wisdom that you would like to impart to everyone watching this? So if we start off with Portello.
I will say is just we're a community. We all stand by each other. There is no harm coming forward. If you do not want to run and you're feeling that you need that motivation, that extra bit, we're there for you. And we will try our level best to help you reach those goals. And that's all I can say.
Brilliant. And Imran, what would you say to everyone?
I think we are open for business, and we will always be open for business. It's important that you keep your physical health, your mental health. Put your priority, and yeah, like Ali said, just get out of the door, get out of the damn door.
Brilliant. Mahmood, what would your take be? What would you say?
Number one, don't drink fizzy drinks like our host. That's the first thing, right?
No speaking no English.
That's the first thing. Second thing is, it's the smallest steps which add up to the bigger steps, right? So just find something you can do. What we do within, which we've done for 4 years now, is we've got this thing where you walk 10,000 steps a day, and it's just like namaz, right? You got to do, even if you don't, you still do it. You do this every single day. And at the end of the week, we just clock in with at least 70,000 steps on our WhatsApp group. So even if you're doing 2, just get to 5. Just do something every day and just push that. Get to 10,000 a day, and just keep on doing that every day. And little things like this over time, they change everything.
Brilliant. Nazir, what would you say?
Don't lose hope. We'll get through this. There is light at the end of the tunnel. SJ's here. We've got the different sports. Yes, we've got different lockdown rules and conditions, but there's always something running. And getting out there and doing something is better than just sitting at home. Again, mental health and everything else. Just get out there and do something. All the groups are up there. There's support up there. There's loads of people doing stuff right now. Just get with it and start doing it.
Brilliant. And Ali, what are your words of wisdom here?
Just to kind of build on 2 points that Mahmood and Patella said. Number one is those small steps. You don't have to think about the big goals straight up. I don't want to do a 30K cycle ride or a 10-kilometer run. Just start small, 1 or 2 Ks really. And as Patella said, the second point is we're here to support and help. If I have to give up hours and hours and hours helping people, I genuinely love doing this. I genuinely enjoy doing it, and I would love to continue helping more and more people. So we are here. Reach out to us. Don't be embarrassed. If you've never done anything before, there's never a better time to start than now, almost.
100%. And in all honesty, I don't know what else I can add to what amazing pearls that you've given to everyone out there. And the only thing that I can say is that being somebody who was extremely fat and still is fat, from not having cycled in years. Last time I was actually on a cycle was about 12. But then going from that, and riding into central London, back again, was only down to the guys that you see here on the screen, okay? With the people who aren't even on the screen, supporting you, pushing you forward. And one thing I can definitely tell you guys is all the way from the EC all the way down to the bottom, every single person inside Mujafis is here for you and only you. They do what they do for you. So why don't you reach out and let us help in any which way we can. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been a true pleasure. And just as a quick final note, if you did enjoy this sort of Zoom conversation banter, then look, let us know, because we can organize more. If you want us to discuss more of the nicknames of some of the brothers here, then we'd be happy to do that. In fact, we'd love to do that without a doubt, So please do let us know. And inshallah, we are praying for everyone's safety, for everyone's health. Be safe and stay well. And inshallah, we'll see you soon. Allah Hafiz.
Yes.
Hafiz.
Hafiz.